Guys, welcome back to the channel. So I got to try out Metroid Prime 4 over at Walmart via their kiosk. I got to play it for about 15 minutes and I have some thoughts. So I just want to go over my thoughts. We're going to go over all the details about the game, any questions you might have about the game, the features and everything. DLC I would like to see if they do DLC. So let's just get into this. Alright, so as I said, I went over to Walmart this morning and got to try out the new Metroid Prime 4 Beyond game on the Nintendo Switch 2 kiosk, and it was pretty awesome. Here are my thoughts. So I broke it up into certain sections. So first thing is gameplay. The gameplay feels silky smooth with the twin stick controls. Scanning is much faster now, thank God. I remember that in the old games where it kind of felt clunky trying to switch back and forth between the scanning and fighting. Well, they made it seamless. It's much faster. And it's super easy to scan stuff now. I'm very happy about that because I was worried about scanning stuff when I saw these trailers and stuff. Anyway, you can now shoot your cannon with either the A button or the ZR button. You can charge it up like Mega Man, Mega Buster, and in like the other Metroid Prime games. So it's pretty fun. The gameplay feels silky smooth, the frame rate, everything FPS, it's exactly what they advertised. It feels great. It's the best the franchise has ever felt in my opinion. Alright, number two. The lock-on feature feels kind of like you're cheating when you're fighting small foes. The lock-on feels like kind of like a cheat code. The lock-on mode made sense back on the GameCube because of how the controls were set up back then. Like they didn't have the twin stick controls even though it had the C button, which was kind of like a stick. Or like, you know, that big C rotation thing. I don't want to say C button, but you know what I'm talking about. If you look at the GameCube controller, I have one right here. Boop. This is like a wireless one. This thing right here. They could have made twin stick controls work, but they hadn't really invented that yet. They were still trying to figure out ways to make first-person shooters. So what they came up with back on the GameCube, it worked. And the lock-on feature, you kind of had to have it because it was really difficult to hit things. I mean, you'd have to stop moving to aim in that game. It was very, very difficult. And now that we have figured out how first-person controls should work, thanks to games like Halo and Half-Life, well, it's pretty much universal now. So the new twin-stick controls makes Metroid feel absolutely buttery smooth. I love it. But the lock-on feature, even though it was in the Metroid Prime Remaster, it still feels kind of like a cheat code because you can literally just lock onto the small foes and it's almost impossible to miss. You can still miss if they jump out of the way, but I don't know, it kind of makes it a little easy. Now, when you're fighting a boss, that would make a lot more sense because you need to lock on the weak points and stuff like that, and the giant boss is moving around. That makes sense to me. But for the little guys, I don't know. It feels weird. But if they didn't have it, people will complain. I'm so glad it's there because it's going to make fighting foes and stuff super easy. But I don't know. I'm kind of mixed on that because it just feels like a cheat code to me. But whatever. All right, now the third thing, we're going to talk about the opening battle scene. Has some awesome scale to it. The world of Metroid feels much larger thanks to the Federation and the big battle zone with this giant mech that comes walking out of the woodworks, and it was so cool to see. It's like, wow, the world of Metroid is massive, and I want to exist in this world. I want to find out everything I can about it. With games like this, we get a much better understanding of Samus and her universe. Some people not like the inclusion of NPCs tagging along, but if done correctly, I think it's great. If it adds to the overall gameplay, I feel it's great. Now, there is that annoying character that people have been complaining about since they showed it off in that trailer, but I have a feeling it's not going to be like that the whole game. So I wouldn't worry about it too much. I'm still going to buy the game day one after what I just played. Game feels amazing. I can't wait to play more of it when it comes out. Number 4. The graphics have never looked better for the Metroid Prime series, obviously, because it's the most powerful system the series has ever launched on. The demo I played felt so damn good at 60 FPS, and the world, aliens, and Federation Force all looked fantastic. Sometimes when they do these games, only the main character looks good. Nah, man, when I was playing this on the Switch 2 there at the kiosk, it looked fantastic. Now, the trailers and stuff don't do it justice, but when you play it on a 4K television, the kiosk they had there, the game looked absolutely stunning. And it made me want to play the game even more, and I know it sounds stupid, but I kind of started tearing up a little bit because Metroid, I've been a huge fan of Metroid since the original back on the NES. I've literally played every single one of them. The Metroid games are right up there with Mega Man games for me. Mega Man, more importantly Mega Man X, is my favorite game of all time. So Super Metroid and Mega Man X are pretty much tied for my favorite game of all time. God, I wish they would do something like this with the Mega Man X series. I want a Mega Man X. It doesn't have to be a first-person shooter, but give me something like this. And no, Mega Man Legends does not count. It's too different. I want something that's like in the Mega Man universe, but like Metroid Prime, if that makes sense. Like, just give me something. And the fact that Metroid Prime is still going after all these years, it's so cool to see in the evolution of it. From Metroid Prime 1, 2, 3, the 3DS games, the Game Boy games. My first Metroid game was the one on the original Game Boy, where everything kind of looks the same because of the green graphics. So it took me a while to beat that game because I'm like, am I going in circles here? But that game was super fun too. Anyway, I'm sorry, I'm having a little nostalgia trip here, but it just kind of came full circle when I was playing it there at the kiosk, and this now just became my number one most anticipated game, even though it's been on my radar for a while. But playing it, actually getting to play it, and hearing all this hate about it because of this one character, all my worries were pretty much shattered with playing this demo. I can't wait to play this. This looks phenomenal, and I wish it came out sooner, because it definitely would have probably been in Game of the Year talks, just based off the 15 minutes I spent with it. It felt so good. All right, now on to the game details. If you're curious about this, I know other people have reported on this, but I just want to make this video all inclusive with all the information that I have found on it. It says file size for the Switch 2 version is 31.6 gigabytes. It supports TV mode, tabletop mode, and handheld mode, naturally. It supports cloud saves. It kills me when some games don't support cloud saves. It makes no sense. Like Pokemon, come on. Why does that's like the most important game that needs cloud saves? Oh, and Animal Crossing doesn't support cloud saves. Ugh. It has no multiplayer or co-op. I was kind of bummed about that because I feel like maybe they were setting it up and not telling us that, cool, it's going to have co-op, split screen co-op. That would have been awesome for this game. I know that's not what Metroid's about, but we'll get into that later. Quality mode supports 4K 60 docked and 1080p with HDR in handheld mode. Performance mode supports 1080p 120 docked and 720p handheld mode. Did I say performance mode twice? Quality mode was the first one. Supports 4K 60. I don't think I said it wrong, but I might have. Anyway, it supports mouse controls, as we all know, and it has these 3 awesome amiibo characters that are coming out with it. I bought 2 of them. Keep an eye on the channel. I'm going to make a video about those next. So I got to get the blue guy. I forget his name, but the cool bad guy, the villain in the game. Now, on to my hopes for DLC. I really hope they add in a co-op mode at some point. I know that goes against everything the franchise is about, but I think they could really build out the world and make the game more mainstream with both a co-op and story, like co-op story mode, and competitive online multiplayer for those that want it. Number 2 would be more suits. I want I know this is going overboard a little bit, but I want like 50 different suits to choose from. Samus's iconic suit is awesome and timeless, but I still would love some customization options. The least they could do is at least allow me to change the color of her armor, because even though it's iconic, the orange and slight yellow and kind of goldish and red, I want a blue suit. You can change it in Smash Brothers. I just want the suit to be blue. That's me. That's what I want. The next thing, and I've talked about this in other videos I've covered on this channel, I want some sort of ship combat. We got vehicle controls finally starting with a motorcycle. Take that a step further with DLC or an update, and allow me to control her ship. Like after you beat the game, allow me to control the ship and fly around that giant map. That would be freaking awesome. They could add some space battles, like something, just like some sort of DLC if they are planning it. I have been wanting to play around in her ship, fly her ship around in combat or something ever since the original game, because I think her ship is one of the most badass looking ships ever. The way it looks in the new game, I feel like they should have went with more of the Super Metroid look, because I feel like the Super Metroid version of her ship is probably the coolest version of her ship in my opinion, because she's had a lot of cool different versions of it, but I think the one from Super Metroid looks the coolest. It looks like her helmet. It looks awesome. Now, the last thing I would like to see as DLC, if they can get it to work, is some sort of third-person mode. I'm not a big fan of first-person shooters anymore, but I always make an exception when it comes to Halo and the Metroid Prime games. However, I would very much prefer these games were both in third person as an option. Alright, so the sum up. So what little I got to play at Walmart today really put a big smile on my face. It's been a very long time since I was this excited, for a Metroid game. Keep an eye on the channel because we are definitely covering this game as the game goes on and progresses. Thank you for watching, and as always, stay frosty.